Biden standing there saying, help is here and we will not stop working for you. And I think the premise of what we hear are just the words. And what I said to Andrew Wheeler, who was the EPA administrator under Trump, I told him, because when he did his opening remarks, he just read a script. Didn't even look up, didn't even like try to get eye contact with us. And I told him, I said, hey, I waited for an opportunity to raise my hand. And then I raised my hand. And I told him, I said, you could say all these nice words on your script. It doesn't mean anything, because what we pay attention to are your actions. And I said, right now, your actions are going in the opposite direction of environmental protection. And I encourage you all. And I was talking with Dakota last night. He was asking me about something I said several years ago, and he still thinks about this. Think before you talk is what I said. And he was asking me about that. I said, you're sitting around a table. You'll have your opportunity to speak. Listen to everybody speak. Listen to everybody say what they're going to say. And you build your words from what you heard. And then when it's your turn to speak, I said, maybe you're going to become the referee. Maybe you're going to come in and, try to find that. Maybe you'll have the idea that is a solution. And so those are the moments that we seize when you're in these talks. Because when it comes to water rights, our land management, mineral rights, all of these things that are dear to us, this is where we dig our heels in. And you wanna get into a fight, it's like, all right, come in dressed for battle, something like that. Is that my suggested readings list? I wanted to share this list. I shared this list in my presentations. I shared it with the students at UNR. And these are books that I've read. These are books that I mean, right from the top. I mean, the first book I read back in 1992 was Cadillac Desert. And you get into these other books, and I got these books over time because this is what we were dealing with at that time. And I'd read it, try to understand what we're up against, try to understand what it is that we're dealing with. You prepare yourself to go in to these meetings with knowledge and hopefully the experience that is deserving to pierce the heart with truth. That's all we can do. Our story is not a kind thing to tell, and so don't be kind when you have to tell it. Just be straight up, and if they want to be insulted, then let them. There's nothing we can do. We can't, like I said earlier, we can't go back in time and change what happened. We can't undo that. It happened. I'm fortunate to be able to drive to work on the shores of Pyramid Lake every day. And one morning a few weeks ago, I was driving to work, and this is what I saw. This is what presented itself to me. So I pulled over and took this picture. And it's things like this that you can't take away. And it's things like this that inspire, to continue to do the work we do, So I want to thank Sophia, Christina, her staff, the VAS tribe, everybody here in this facility that has worked to put on a good conference. It's a good conference, and I'm thankful that they are able to accommodate for us and make it comfortable for us. Be there for what we need. You know, I never drank so much water. No, I'm just kidding. And I want to thank Jessa. We met last year up at Tahoe, and I was pleased to see her name on the list that she was going to be here. And I was going to end. I'm going to offer a song. Yes, Lisa, Jessa, Sophia. What I did up at Reno Summer Art Talk, it just happened. It wasn't scheduled, but I guess it was the way I was feeling at that moment about serving, the Art Talk as a tribal co-chair. And those songs, what they mean, and when you use them in ceremony, and what your thoughts are, it's good in your heart. You got a purpose for that ceremony, and maybe there's a person over there that the ceremony's for. And when you offer those songs and you put everything into it to help that individual, or for whatever purpose that ceremony serves, that's what it's there for. And so I even even yesterday when I showed up for the plenary, Roman, he came up and asked me to sing. And thank you, Roman. I it's an honor for me, and I don't think of it so much that I start getting nervous. I just do what I do. This is like our obligation, the path that's in front of each of us. That path that's there in front of us is a path that we built. That's our path. And maybe if we go this way and we go this way, that's our choice. Find ourselves in trouble? Well, I've been there. You have to look in the mirror and get yourself back on track. And so we try to do the best we can. And I offer this song for Annette and Brenda and Rob, all of us here, the purpose we serve. On behalf of Conner Byestewa, in the purpose for this award, and what he did in his lifetime, what he did in serving his tribe, and the work that he did for environmental protection was so profound, that it brought us to this point of honoring him through this award. And I'm grateful to be a recipient of the award, and those in the past that have received the award, I'm sure feel the same. Camille, John, it's a good feeling to know that, folks look up to us. And I have to tell you, I look up to you. I look up to you guys. Paul was always saying, you're my inspiration. And I tell him back, you're my inspiration. You guys inspire me too. So let it stay that way. I want it to be that way, because we're just, like I said, we're just people. This song is, it talks about our water, our hot springs. And when we talk about the origins of our water, whether it's deep in our Mother Earth or way up in the atmosphere, there's a place where that water is created. And those are the places we think about when we talk about protection. Those are the places we think about when we want to pray, when we have these thoughts and meditation and concentration. These are the places that we think about. Because this is like all we have. Osan obe hobandoa, hotan obe no wandoa, away, do you say, Anna, away, do you say, Anna, Iaro, yo have again, hobandoa, away, do you say, Anna, away, Toyotiana, Pa Osano be Owandoa, Pa Osano be Owandoa, Pa away, Toyotiana, Pa away, Toyotiana, Iaro yo have it, Hovan Owandoa, Pa away, Toyotiana. Away, Toyotiana. Pa Otan obe Owanoa, Pa Otan obe Owanoa, Pa away, Toyotiana. Pa away, Toyotiana. Iaro yo havegin Hovan Owanoa. Away, Toyotiana. Away, Toyotiana. Paotano be Obandoa, Paotano be Obandoa, away, Toyotiana. Away, Toyotiana. Iaro yo havegin Obandoa. Away, Toyotiana. Away, Toyotiana. Anyway, thank you.
Thank you, Merv, for that beautiful song. A deal is a deal. So at the end of this, I will also be sharing a song, maybe two. So be sure to stick around to the end. We're going to go ahead and get started with our recipients. Before we do, I just want to share the awards that we're handing out were brought to you by Kumie Market. If you yourself want to go visit the market and get something beautiful like this for yourself, you can go to thekumiemarket.com. So our first recipient is Brenda Pusher-Begay from Arizona. Sometimes we'll have the people who nominated them come up and say really wonderful things. But for these recipients, they received multiple nominations, and we thought we would take up way too much time if everybody came up to honor them in that good way. So I'll be reading a little something about each recipient. And these recipients have been doing beautiful work in the community, so we're honoring them for all the beautiful work that they are doing. Brenda Pusher-Begay has shown great leadership in the White Mountain Apache Tribe Environmental Protection Office. Brenda started working for the WMAT Watershed Program in 1999 as the Water Quality Officer / Quality Assurance Officer until 2001. In 2001, she was hired as the Environmental Manager for WMAT Environmental Protection Office, and she has been there ever since. Brenda has been employed with the WMAT EPO for 32 years in total. That's a round of applause. Through her work with WMAT, Brenda assisted in developing the Tribal Water Quality Standards, Tribal Solid Waste Ordinance, Integrated Solid Waste Management Plan, and other important environmental regulations for the tribe. One of Brenda's greatest attributes to the tribe is being a grant writer for her program. She has successfully applied for and received funding from US EPA and other federal agencies. Brenda is also the Central Arizona Regional Tribal Operations Committee, RTOC, representative for 3 terms. Brenda is very passionate about her work and her people. In 1996, the WMAT Tribal Council passed a resolution to form the tribe's Tribal Plan and Project Review, TPPR process. TPPR was created to ensure that all projects and plans occurring on the Fort Apache Indian Reservation are better coordinated and are consistent with tribal and federal laws, policies, and regulations, and more importantly, to protect and conserve the vast and critically important natural resources on the reservation. Brenda has been the TPPR's tribal coordinator since 2001, overseeing the TPPR committee, which consists of tribal professionals from the Cultural Center, Fish and Game, Tribal Forestry, Land Office, Water Resources Program, Tribal Historic Preservation Office, and others. Brenda is an enrolled member of the White Mountain Apache Tribe and is fluent in the Apache language. Using her language helps her to better inform and educate the tribal community members on environmental protection issues and concerns. One of Brenda's other roles in life is being a wife and mother. Brenda lost her husband of 24 years in May of this year, and she has 6 wonderful children. As any parent here who has a full-time job and raises a family at home should know how hard life can be, Brenda told me there were times when she wanted to quit with the stress at work and having a spouse who had many health issues, but she shrugged it off and she had to go on. Her favorite motto in life is water under the bridge. To her, it means whatever struggles and hardships you may have today, this too shall pass, and tomorrow is a new day. For these reasons, and there are many, many more, I believe Brenda Pusher-Begay represents the Conner Byestewa Jr.'s values and teachings of being a true environmental role model, and that she deserves this award. Brenda, please come up and receive your award. Congratulations. Thank you. I'll hand this to you. And here's your bag. You can grab it when you're done.
Okay, thank you.
Let me know if you need me to adjust it.
Okay. Wow. Tagot she Brenda Pusher-Begay unse distin schli ye aya banishti ek o nde zelkai de son schli. Hello, my name is Brenda Pusher-Begay. I am of the Distin, which it means, the red streak people. And I am related to the Iaya, the Mesquite people of the White Mountain Apache who reside on the Fort Apache Indian Reservation. I'm also of the Yavapai Apache and Dene descent. In my roles of being an Apache woman, first, I am a daughter of the late Roscoe Pusher Sr. and Evelina Pusher. I am a mother to 6 wonderful children, 1 son and 5 daughters. And as she mentioned, I was a wife of 24 years to the late Julian Begay, who was the Navajo from Rock Point, Arizona. We reside in the community east of White River called Turkey Creek. My role that has brought me here with you today is my role as the environmental manager for the White Mountain Apache Environmental Protection, office. As she has mentioned, I've been working with that office for over 30 years. I began immediately working for my tribe when I received my degrees from Northern Arizona University. And she talked about the positions that I held at that time: watershed technician, water quality officer. When the tribe received the tribe had their water quality standards approved. And then also the manager for the environmental office. There's a couple of people I wanted to say thank you to who helped me get on this path in the field that I am in my life. There was Jonathan Long. He was the watershed director at that time. Laurel Locker, who oversaw the water resources program, and Keith Jones. Someone had asked me just the other day about, Keith Jones. He was the one that, I guess had the privilege to put me in this position when he left the tribe. And also the Honorable, the late Ronnie Lupi. He really helped me get into this field. She talked about the tribe's tribal plan and project review. I am the coordinator for that. Our reservation is located in eastern Arizona. Our tribe is blessed with over 14 lakes and miles of streams and rivers. We have a ski resort, so it obviously gets a lot of snow, and we are blessed with a vast amount of wildlife. I'm also the RTOC Central Arizona representative, and locally I'm a part of the board of directors for our tribe's Community Development Corporation, Navajo Electric Corporation, and also Turkey Creek Livestock Association. I want to say thank you to our tribal council. We have one representative here, Maridi Craig, and also the rest of the tribal council members, the chairman and vice chairman, for their support. I also want to say thank you to my staff members who are here, Delbert Altaha Jr. He's our air quality specialist, and boy, I am so grateful to have him on my team. He goes beyond almost, on a daily basis. He's our good person to work with, and thank you, Delbert. And also Diana Kinney, she's our administrative assistant, and she's the one that keeps our program intact. So thank you, Diana. And also Schwan Ethelbaugh, she's not here, but she's our environmental specialist for our Brownfield program. She just recently had a baby, so she's home. And then also thank you to the conference host, especially Sophia. I've been bugging her a lot lately, so thank you to their staff also. And also EPA Region 9. I want to say a big thank you to Jose Garcia. I know he's no longer with the Brownfields program, but he was a big help in where we're at now. With closing, I spoke of our tribal council earlier, of how 30 years ago and even beyond that, they knew we had to protect our land, our natural resources, for the generations that are coming. The work that I do every day as the environmental manager is important to me, not only because my role as a mother, and someday that role will advance to being a grandmother and a great-grandmother. I want our grandchildren and those who are still coming, I want them to enjoy the same cold spring water from the top of our mountains, or eat the fresh food our land and our water offers today. My Apache people, the White Mountain Apaches, in my land, the Fort Apache Indian Reservation, are the reasons why I stand here to proudly accept this award. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, Brenda. I want to just make a quick announcement to remind you about tonight, 6:30 to 9 p.m. Whether you have a costume or not, join us for a karaoke and costume contest because there will be food. Also, for those of you who are doing virtual presentations, make sure that you include your name in your email, and you can email info@tribalepa.com. And now we'll get into our next recipient, Rob Roy. Let me get his award really quick. That's helpful. Okay, so Rob Roy is the environmental director for the La Jolla Band of Luiseno Indians and has been employed by the tribe for over 21 years. That's another round of applause. He is responsible for the Environmental Protection Office, which employs a staff of 7 people working on clean water, air quality, solid waste, wastewater, natural resources, and other critical environmental and human health issues. Rob was directly involved with receiving funding from the EPA to build a transfer station on the La Jolla Indian Reservation, which is still used by tribal residents today. And he has worked long hours to ensure that they have access to that transfer station. Through Rob's leadership and guidance, the La Jolla water and air programs have both made strides in the last 15 years. The air program received TAS for CAA 126, 505, and 105, which is now funded under the CAA 105 program, and will be moving into regulatory ozone monitoring for comparison to the NAAQS. The water program received TAS status for CWA 518E to develop water quality standards for the tribe. Rob is responsible for starting a natural resource program for the tribe, which now operates independent from the environmental office with a 7-staff crew. Rob received the EPA Environmental Achievement Award in 2008 for his work with solid waste management, including recycling, reducing illegal dumping, hazardous and electronic waste recycling, tire cleanup, and disaster recovery. Rob works hard to foster collaboration between numerous groups to achieve common goals to safeguard public health and to restore, protect, and enhance the natural environment of the La Jolla Indian Reservation. He currently serves as a member of the TWRAP Steering Committee, as an RTOC representative, and is the RTOC Solid Waste Working Group lead. And these are only some of the great things that Rob has done for the tribe. All the environmental programs he helps manage are outstanding examples of how to utilize EPA funds for the benefit of not only the environment, but tribal members and the reservation as a whole. His passionate dedication to environmental protection and to the La Jolla tribe is commendable. His passion for the natural world extends out of work, and he goes traveling and camping, I think it's campaigning, whenever he can. So please welcome Rob Roy up here, and let's congratulate him.
Wow, this is beautiful. Okay, she's a little taller than me. Bring that down just a tad. Wow. quite an honor, especially with the the other folks who have been nominated and all of you out there. And I'm incredibly honored and incredibly appreciative, especially for such an honor named after such an incredible gentleman, Conner Byestewa Jr., and all the amazing work that he's done over the years. I want to tell you just a little bit about why I am here and how I got here and the reasons why I'm at La Jolla. I had worked a number of different jobs in my life doing different types of work. You might not even think someone as small as me was actually an iron worker at one time in his life, but I was. I've done many different types of jobs, but they were all jobs, they weren't careers. And in my early 40s, I decided that I wanted a career and I wanted to do something that I could be proud of and that had benefit to the world around me. And so I went back to school and started, studying environmental science. And I just, as she had mentioned, I love to go hiking. And I would be hiking out in the natural world and I would see, these beautiful landforms and these beautiful plants and these beautiful animals. And I always felt I am most comfortable when I am outdoors and in nature. And so I wanted to learn more about that. And so I went back and studied environmental science. But I've always had an interest, and I'm not really sure why, but it's just always been a strong interest of mine to understand Indigenous peoples and Native Americans here in this country. And so at college, every class that I could take with a Native American slant, instead of taking world history, I took Native American history, anthropology, art, many different classes to learn more about Native American culture. And after leaving college, or actually to finish up, I started studying geographic information systems, and I love maps. I remember going out with my mom, and my mother is here today with me. My mother, Jeanette Roy, and we would go on trips, and she took me out, and she's the one that really gave me that passion for the environmental world. And so we would go on trips when I was a kid, and I was always the navigator. Of course, she was driving, and I was always navigating with the maps. And then I loved computers, and so when I heard about GIS and learned and realized that I could kind of combine computers and maps together, I said, oh yeah, I'll do this. And I needed an internship, and I started working actually for the city of San Diego, and worked for the city for a year. And then I heard about this opportunity to go up and work for the La Jolla Band of Luiseno Indians. And so I went up to La Jolla and did an internship up there and started up the GIS capacity for the tribe. And I ended up staying on with La Jolla. They asked me to stay on after my 6-month internship was over. And I stayed on working in the environmental department. And then the environmental director at the time moved on to a new position, and that position opened up. Well, my predecessor was a PhD, and I don't have a PhD, and I thought there's no way I can apply for this job. But my friends and my colleagues in the office with me encouraged me to apply. And to me, that was just incredibly honoring, in that the people that I worked with said, no, we will work for you. Please apply, we'd like to work for you. I'm sorry, I'm thinking about one of the gentlemen there. So Sam Palval was there, and I want to thank Sam. But I also really want to thank John Beresford, bro. Many of you out there know John Beresford. He was a leader at La Jolla for many years, and he was my uncle. He was my Indian uncle, and he taught me an awful lot. And the way that he would teach was just wonderful. He would never directly tell me something. He would talk in, around the issue, but I realized that he was educating me in what he was doing. And so it's because of Bro that I am where I am now. And so I want to thank him for that. And then working at La Jolla one day, I can't remember where I was, and I ran into one of my college professors, Juana Mahal, and she's an enrolled member of the Palma Band of Mission Indians and has served on NCAI and is nationally recognized as a national leader in Indian country. And I was talking to Juana, and I let her know, Juana, remember me from your anthropology class, the one that you would call up in front of the class and give heck to? And she said, oh yeah, Rob, I remember you. And Rob, you're here at La Jolla for a reason. I want to tell you that. I want you to understand. Things do not just happen. Things happen for reasons. and you are here at La Jolla to serve a purpose. And that was just incredibly inspiring to me. And honestly, working at La Jolla has not always been easy. You know, there were people that did not want me there, but there were also very many that welcomed me. And it has just been incredibly rewarding to have tribal leaders and my friends and colleagues at La Jolla tell me, you know, Rob, you've worked here for 21 years. You are part of the community. You are a community member. And just to be told that is amazing. That means so much. So thank you. So I just wanted to give a few thanks. So that's just a little bit about me and why I'm at La Jolla. And I mentioned Bro earlier. This is all to him, so thank you, Bro. I also want to thank those who nominated me. I believe that, I thought I saw him over here somewhere. My friend John Flores, I believe, was one of the ones that nominated me, as well as my team at La Jolla. And to be nominated by your team is an incredible honor as well. So thank you to all of my team, and some of them are here at the table with me over here. Thank you to all the tribal leaders that I've worked with. Our current chairwoman, Wendy Schlater, was one of the first people that took me out on a cultural site visit, and she started teaching me and telling me about the culture. And that's also something I've been incredibly honored with over the years, is that I was actually, before the tribe now has a THPO, a Tribal Historic Preservation Officer and office, but before the tribe had that office, I was actually given a lot of cultural knowledge and was entrusted with maintaining a database of known cultural sites on La Jolla. And for an outside person to be allowed to learn about the culture and to be given that responsibility was incredibly honoring. And so thank you to Wendy for first taking me out there on that site. And I won't be able to mention all the tribal leaders that I work with, so I'm not going to try, but thank you to the tribal leaders. I would like to recognize that Vice Chairman Jack Music is here with us today, and Councilman John Pipa is here with us today, so thank you both. Thank you also to Secretary Delia Gutierrez. I already mentioned Chairwoman Wendy Schlater and Tribal Treasurer Larry Ann Music. So thank you to all the Tribal Council. Thank you to all of my team, and that's what is, you know, as I said, they nominated me. Frank Spurgeon, who is, I could not do the work that I do without Frank, our air program manager and environmental manager. Thank you to Ruben Rodriguez, who's here with us today, to Gilbert Mejia, who is also here with us today. Thank you to Jolene Tam, who took off, you know, came up and worked with us as a volunteer and is now running our natural resources program. Carlos J., who's running our transfer station. Michael, who is also our solid waste assistant. And I know I'm saving the best for last, but I know there's one other person that I'm not saying, but maybe there's not. Maybe I've saved the best for last, and that's Shirley Rodriguez. And Shirley has been my friend for many years at La Jolla. And truly, Shirley runs the office. I might be the environmental director, but Shirley runs the office. We all know that she's our leader, and she's our rock. And so thank you, Shirley, for everything that you've done for me for all of the years. And thank you to all of you. You know, everybody in this room are my colleagues and my friends and my peers and my support. And so thank you to all of you. Thank you to all the many wonderful people at EPA who have supported me, people at other different federal agencies who have given me that support. And I heard Chairman Wright, I still always think of him as chairman because he was chairman when I met him, but I heard Mervyn say the other day that he is a lifelong learner. And I think that is an incredibly important thing for us all to keep in mind. And something that I've always, you know, said throughout my life is when you stop learning, you stop living. So we need to learn until the day that we pass on. So please, everybody, I encourage you to keep learning all throughout your lives. Nishun Lovik.
Awesome. And I'm going to do a couple more announcements. One is when you do step outside of these doors, you'll see some really beautiful artwork. It's the youth art. There's 4 categories, and we're encouraging you to go out and vote because there will be winners from each category who will receive $100. So let's help them get their $100. Also, for the presentations, if you haven't submitted your presentation yet, please do so. And one more announcement is there's lost and found items at the registration. So if anybody has lost anything, you can check if it's there. And if you found a blue bag last night, please bring it up to registration as well. So our last recipient is Annette George. Annette George has worked for the Duckwater Shoshone Tribe's Natural Resources Department for over 2 decades. Another round of applause. The reservation is an oasis in the arid Nevada environment, and Annette manages her natural resources program with the help of her crew and the community. Annette oversees all EPA grants, GAP, CWA 106, NPS 319, the noxious weed projects, which includes eradication of grasshoppers to save the hay crops on the reservation, the service water monitoring, drinking water system, solid waste services, invasive species youth program. She also coordinates with the White Pine CWMA, assists tribal assignment holders with FSA programs, as well as being seated on the WPFSA committee. In addition, Annette serves on both NTOC and RTOC. Annette networks with outside agencies such as the USDA, U.S. Forest Service, BLM, U.S. Fish and Wildlife, and other tribal environmental departments in Nevada. When you visit the reservation, her weeds management program is evident. Her solid waste program is efficient and convenient for the community and is a great example of responding to the community's needs. For being so far away from cities and landfills, her transfer station supports and addresses the waste generated by the people, and she conducts controlled burns, source reduction, and other means to manage the waste. Annette's opinion is valued by her peers, and there is no end to what Annette has accomplished in her position as the director. Help me welcome Annette, and let's congratulate her. Take your time. Congratulations.
The beautiful award. That was a long walk. And Rob was right. The mic is pretty high for folks like Rob and I. But I even went out and bought some high shoes last night so I could stand taller. Okay, there we go. First of all, I'd like to thank my colleagues for always supporting me and networking with me, and just want to thank my family and thank my peers for nominating me. Thank you. I just want to thank my daughter and her family for always taking care of the animals and the cows back home. You know, when we're away for these meetings, they still need to be taken care of. So thank them a lot. I thank my tribe, Duckwater Shoshone Tribe, as I've been employed for 38 years. And so I still have a few years left in me. before I retire. My 401k says I can't retire yet. But along the way, I started like in 2000, and I really didn't have any experience in grant writing and writing the EPA grants. And some of the people that were already in the environmental field back in early 2000s helped me a lot and taught me a lot along the way. And there's just so many that helped me and showed me what to do with the programs and how to improve my program throughout the years. And I just want to give them some recognition too for helping me. And that's Robin Powell. Some of you remember her. She worked for Pyramid Lake. Nina, I don't know if you need us in here, but thank you, Nina, for always networking and helping me. Even if I'm stuck on my laptop, she's always, we're out meeting during the meetings or out in the halls, just trying to figure out things and giving each other's support and just continue to give each other ideas on how to do things or how we can improve our programs. Yes. Dallas, for always being my traveling partner. And just back in the day, we didn't have GPS that show us where to go, so we were like blind leading the blind without having any phones to show us the directions, or sometimes calling people at home that are familiar with the town saying, hey, how do we get to this point? And just thank Africa. She's been our friend, our colleague, our coworker for years. Her kids were just babies then, and now he's engaged and about to get married. So just got to thank Marie Berry. She's not here with us anymore, but she's one of the ones that taught me a lot along the way as well. And she got me involved with being on the National Tribal Operations Committee. And I learned a lot from her too, and I sure miss her. Along with going to the art talks throughout the years, I think I started as an alternate for Tad Williams, and he was with the Walker River Tribe. And I didn't even see this guy for years, and I ended up being his alternate for, I don't know, maybe 4 years before I became my own self, Annette George, on the art talk committee. So throughout the years, we've traveled to beautiful countrysides in the Region 9 tribal homes, and those beautiful landscapes that each of the tribes have is just very interesting to see, whether it's out in the desert or in the trees. It's always an experience, and just good to be out in Indian country. It's always good to be in San Francisco too, to be able to see our project officers. One of the things that stand out for me is going to Pyramid Lake. Went to their fisheries, and the only hole that was in the building I found. And it was just a hole like that, and my whole leg fell I fell down and went down, and my Wallapai brothers had to pick me up off of the ground, but I was okay, and I'm still going. I also have to thank Laura. I don't know if she's in here, but Laura back then was our project officer, was my project officer. So thank you, Laura. Yes. And she would come out to Duckwater and do our site visits, but I also want to thank Laura for always just being encouraging, and even still today, now that she's with EPA, just thank you, Laura, for all your hard work and working with the tribes. With that, I have to thank Christian Galat, Janice Gomes, and I can't forget Wendell Smith. He was a wonderful person and an inspiration for all of our tribes, working with our tribes and helping us improve our water quality. Wendell went out to Duckwater, I think with Janice Gomes, and I'm not sure who all was with him. And Duckwater has one of the largest warm springs in Nevada. So after their visit, Wendell, I don't know if some of you may have heard the story that he just stripped down and jumped into the water because he wanted to experience how warm our warm springs was. And so that story still is always being told. And of course, I can't forget Willard. Willard, I hope you don't retire for 5 more years or so. Please. Many of us know that we have to change project officers from time to time, and some of those times can be a learning process or a learning pain for some of us, but we get the project officers like Willard and that know how to work with the tribes and stuff and make it a little easier on helping us and just improving our programs and helping us throughout the years. So thank you, Willard. I just want to thank EPA for always working for the tribes and with the tribes and having an open dialogue and having this continued partnership in trying to get funding and more funding to the tribes. And I just hope that we can see increases in our programs as the cost of living continues to go up, and so does the cost of the programs to ensure that our tribes get safe drinking water, safe water, and protect our native plants and the surrounding area so we can continue to hunt and eat our plants and use the willows to do cradle boards and basket weaving. Those are really important to protect. So thank you, EPA, for all of your help in getting our funding to us allocated and then working with us during the hard times of COVID when a lot of us couldn't do our outreaches, and working with us to get the work plans completed and working with us to try to change what we can do in a different way during those hard times. And also those hard times in our lives. Life isn't always rosy, and we have losses in our families, or our families have health issues, and you never know when that's going to hit. But just thanks to our project officers to understanding that hard things in life sometimes happens, and we continue to get that completed. So thank you. Some of the things that I am thankful for completing is, how some reses can get, how the tires can just be all over the place in different homes piled up. Well, Duckwater had a lot of tires that were piled up from years and years, probably the 70s, all over. And I was able, with our crew and our staff, were able to do tire cleanups. And then we put them into a big pile, and then we had to hire a place out of Ely that's an hour away, so that raises up cost. But we finally managed to get all of the tires out of Duckwater, and that was a huge accomplishment. and hard work. The other things that we managed to do is have community cleanups and get the staff and the kids involved with that. And everyone has a good time to do that. We also provide dumpsters during cleanup time for the homes for people around, clean up around their homes. And if I'm late in getting that done for like the next year, like in around May, if I'm late, the community starts calling our office and say, hey, aren't you gonna put the dumpster out for us? So you know that those programs are helping the community, and I look forward to have them do that so we don't have to go around and pick up stuff for them. We also make sure that our drinking water is safe. We do work with Carl Banks from EPA on that, and he ensures that we're keeping on our toes, keeping our water quality in good standings, including with our 106 and 319. We do water monitoring as well. And I just thank Region 9 tribes and co-workers, colleagues, for always networking during and after the meetings. And, we come up with some good ideas that even after hours that may help one another, or, oh, hey, we do it this way, or, have you tried doing this? And just learning from everybody is ongoing. Like Mervyn said, learning is an everyday process. I'm also on the NTOC with Mio and Elvin, so thank you, Mio, wherever you are, if you're in here. Thank you for all the hard work that you do with NTOC, writing up the notes and reminding us of their meetings. Thank you to AIEO for coming out here to visit us this week and actually spending the whole week with us. Sometimes we're able to get a person out here, but only for a day. So thank you very much for making the time out of your busy schedule to come out here and spend some time with us. Thank you, Kenneth. And I look forward to meeting with you more on the NTOC. So thanks. We're here to protect our land, water, and our air and our animals as we are still here. The tribes are not gone. And just because we live on the reservation doesn't mean that's not our boundary. Our ancestors roamed throughout place to place, and that is still considered our ancestral lands. We don't have boundaries. We still hunt, we still fish, we still do willows. We do that in different areas of the state, not just on the reservation. So it's very important that we continue to protect our environment overall. We see a lot of mining in Nevada, and the lithium mines are popping up all over the place, even 20 miles down the road from us. Even though that's not on our boundary, it is still in the area that is precious to us, to our culture, and to us as a people. So I think we need to work hard and try to get those mining laws changed, because laws from the 1800s is just way outdated. We need to fix that, yes. So some of us over the years, some of us have been here since 2000. Raise your hand if you've been here since 2000. There's a few of you out there. Yes, we're still here. Some of the things that we survived over the years is Gap Online. You remember that? We did that, and some people liked it and some people didn't. But now we don't use it, and now we're on to the Gap workbook. Just remembering some of the things that we have to work with and learn all the time is ongoing. And just because we may have been in the field for a long time doesn't mean things stay the same. Routines and submissions change all the time. And there we go again, have to learn something else in a different way. So we're always learning. One song that comes to my mind is that suits me is after all these years is I'm Still Standing. So think of that when you're later on singing karaoke maybe. Last thing I want to end is with Moose. Does anybody remember that game? Thank you all, and I'm very honored to receive this award. It's very honoring to have this award with so many other people that I really respect and look up to. So thank you very much.
We wouldn't be a success if we weren't running on Indian time. Congratulations to everybody. I did say I was going to sing a song, but because we ran out of time, I'm not going to share my personal hip hop song. So if you want to hear me bust a flow, then show up tonight to karaoke. So this song that I'm going to sing, it's written by the Honorable Deborah Sanchez from our Chumash Nation, and it reflects honoring of someone of substance, a person who is solid, a person who can be trusted and depended on. And it translates to there's such a person, the very best one. Their heart is beautiful. It's beautiful. Al-Kanej Hilku, hey, hey, hey. Al-Kanej Hilku, hey, hey, hey. Al-Kacho, hey, hey, hey. Al-Kacho, hey, hey, hey. Sana kipna santi. Sana kihimnas Al-Kanej Hilku, hey, hey, hey. Al-Kanej Hilku, hey, hey, hey. Al-Kacho, hey, hey, hey. Al-Kacho, hey, hey, hey. Sana kipna santi. Sana kihibnas Al-Kanej Hilku, hey, hey, hey. Al-Kanej Hilku, hey, hey, hey. Al-Kacho, hey, hey, hey. Al-Kacho, hey, hey, hey. Sana kibna santi. Sana kibnas Al-Kanej Hilku, hey, hey, hey. Al-Kanej Hilku, hey, hey, hey. Al-Kacho, hey, hey, hey. Al-Kacho, hey, hey, hey. Sana kibna santi. Sana kibnas. Awash Kaneha, thank you. Once again, congratulations to the recipients. And with that being said, we're going to go ahead and send you on your way to your breakout rooms, and we will see you tonight for karaoke.